Hello everyone, we are the design group of the project Biocaring. Today I'm so appreciated to be here to introduce our project. So immediately we'll get started to our presentation, Biocaring.
Biocaring is located in Taiwan, the second largest cities in Taiwan. In Taiwan, high housing price and aging populations are quite huge problem, so we want to go through this project to save the problem for local. Biocaring is a long-term care with the medical linkage, social integration to create a senior caring center with an excellent life quality. To integrate the senior caring centers in today's Taiwan society, that is our main goal to make the design and make the planning for this time. Before our design, we also try to do the analyze for the cities and the site area. For the cities, we can get to understand for the built area, energy consumption in previous areas, and the green area. These kind of information will really helpful to help us to make the design development in the next step. For the certain situation in site area, we can get to understand for the city context, densities, and so on. Then they will help us to make the more brilliant and more predictable decisions when we started to do the architecture design. From the perspective side, we could get to understand the site area with a really huge green face and a huge pedestrian than before. That is also the really key point for our landscape and this urban context. Architecture concept is based on the intense landscape, high hills, mountains, just like the landscape forms in Taiwan. So on these kind of diagram, we could go to understand, we try to cut it from the quite big board with the moving lines, outdoor space, make the different kind of height, and so in the end, we put on the green area. This is our really main design thinking of the buildings. In this diagram, we could easily understand about the function using in the buildings. For the hospital, healthy caring, activities, commercial, and living units. These kind of part is also our main goal for all of buildings, whole areas, what we want to do and what kind of people do we want to serve. We don't want to really clear to divide these kind of places for the older people and another people can move in or something like that. We just want people can more and more easier to go into the place, enjoy it. Don't try to divide it for a specific group. People can just play in the area, try to use any kind of activity over there with a kid, with a child, with children. Also try to provide a good life quality. That is our main goal. In the same time, we also do the CFD simulation then to make sure, okay, which kind of area we should just make it more greening to reduce the temperatures problem, reduce the heat islands problem. That will be the architecture sustainable development site, and that is could really clearly to provide our decision is totally the correct one. In this diagram, we're more focused on the function using. So we try to divide it with different color with the functions. For example, the yellow one with the hospital, the light green one with a healthy caring. We know that is a multifunctional building with a healthy caring and hospital, but we don't want to make it more chaos. So we want to make it really clear to divide it, stand in the user's angles, to choosing which kind of space we should just keep in private, which kind of space we should keep it in the opening that people to come in. That is really huge topic for the using side. In our floor plans, we could easily to find out the landscape form and concept and the space in the interior. For the landscape, we also make it with the barrier-free area. People can easily come in to come out, and it will cut it by a small piece islands to connect with the landscape for the buildings. Then these kind of concept will just from outdoor to the indoor. So in the indoor area, we also could see about the creating small piece islands to bring in more greenings from the buildings. And it also could try to keep the temperatures in a really good sustain in the interior. For the construction process, it would go through for the 7th stage and 8th phase. In total, it will take around 15 years to go through all of them. So in between, they will keep to switching the function and so on. But in the end, it will totally match the urban context and a certain building with the landscape. Now we are talking about biocaring to the neighborhood. City hills of the buildings is the really iconic image of this area. Then we also want to bring in more capabilities for the neighborhood, not only for the commercial aspect, also for the outdoor activity aspect. So we're trying to make a lot of green lanes, let people easily to climb up, to do the picnic, make people have a place to hang out in the natural areas. That is what we expect for the extra value for the biocaring. That is why we want to do more the buildings more close to the nature, even it is the multifunctional building, even it is still for a lot of people using it, but also could make people get closer to the nature, back to the nature, and bring the nature to the architecture and the life. That is our expectation in the next decades and the next generation. Now we are talking about architecture detail, section, and the facade. In our situation, we are using a double facade, one with a vertical graining on the wood and second one with the glasses. We want to keep the air resource and light resource for the interior, so this kind of way is almost the best solution. Even now, in Taiwan, that is not that popular and not that common yet, but we deeply believe in the future that will become the trend. That is why we choose this kind of way to develop in our biocarrying. Our expectation of the biocarrying will definitely not only for the architecture, also for the society and the natural aspect. That is the reason we're trying to break through the construction, energy, moving like space using and so on. Of course, we'll definitely not forget our project is for future and we are also doing the design for future. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time. Thank you.